The Skyfire Guardians. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Looked to the Skies. The story began. In a world where the stars hung low and the mountains touched the heavens, there were places men dared not tread, places veiled by living mist, where light twisted and sound fell silent, and where, if you believed the old tales, creatures of fire and starlight soared. This is the story of a boy who looked to the skies, a boy whose heart longed for the unknown, and how a single choice set him upon a path that would change not only his life, but the fate of his people. The Valley of Legends. The mountains of Elyndral were unlike any others. By day, they gleamed silver, their ridges catching the sun like blades forged by gods. By night, they stood dark and sharp, their peaks cutting into the starry dome above, and always a mist hung there, curling and shifting, as though alive. The people of Elyndral both feared and revered those mists, for within them, it was said, dwelled the Skyfire Beasts, creatures born of flame and star, whose wings painted the heavens with sparks and whose eyes glowed brighter than fire itself. The elders called them guardians, protectors of balance, keepers of secrets too ancient for men to remember. But others whispered of destruction, of villages burned to ash, of firestorms unleashed when man and beast clashed. So the valley people lived at the edge of wonder, bound by fear, telling their children never to wander near the glowing fog. And in this valley lived a boy named Kael, the boy who dreamed. Kael was not the strongest, nor the loudest, nor the bravest among the village children. His arms lacked the weight of those who split logs, his voice did not ring like the boys who practiced swordplay, and he carried no tools with the certainty of the apprentices. But within him burned something different, a hunger not for food or wealth, but for the unknown. While others chased goats on the hills, Kael sat on high ridges, eyes on the clouds. When his mother sent him to gather berries, he returned with stones shaped like stars. When tasked with herding, he wandered instead into meadows, sketching with charcoal the shapes of wings he saw in dreams. The villagers muttered, "Strange boy," they said, always staring upward, never with feet on the ground. But Kael could not help it. The sky was calling him, family and memory. His home was small, a cottage of wood and stone by a stream. His mother, Elara, was strong, her hands rough from work, her eyes lined with worry. She had raised Kael and his little sister, Lyra, alone since their father vanished into the mountains years ago. Some said wolves took him, others whispered of the mists. Elara never spoke of it, but sometimes Kael caught her looking to the peaks with both longing and fear. Lyra was 8, bright as a morning song. She followed Kael everywhere, tugging his sleeve, begging for stories. "Tell me about the stars again," she would whisper at night, curling beside him on her straw mat. And Kael would tell her of burning fires beyond reach, of guardians with wings of flame, of beasts that watched over the world. His mother sighed at such tales. "Feed on the earth, Kael," she said. "The sky will not feed you. The stars cannot keep you warm." But Kael only smiled faintly, for though the earth held him, the sky claimed his heart. A friend of sparks and steel, Kael's only true companion, aside from Lyra, was Sira. She was his age but sharper, her hands always smudged with soot, her eyes alight with invention. While Kael dreamed of wonders, Sira built them tiny spinning toys from wood, whistles from reed, wheels from broken cart spokes. "Why stare at stars when you can make your own?" she teased one afternoon, holding up a lantern she'd tinkered with until it scattered sparks. "Because I want to know what's out there," Kael answered simply. "And I," Sira said with a grin, "want to build something to take us there, together." They were opposites, yet bound by curiosity, and together, they often found themselves in trouble, climbing to high, wandering to far, asking questions that made elders frown. Whispers of the beasts. On nights of gathering, the villagers sat around fire while Elder Elyndral spoke. Bent with age, his beard long, his eyes like embers, he carried the weight of memory. Long ago, he said, his staff tapping the stones. The Skyfire Beasts flew free. Their wings painted the sky, their fire lit the night. They were guardians of balance, protectors of what must never be lost. The children leaned close. Even the adults listened in silence. But beware, Erendral's voice darkened. The same fire that warms can also burn. Men once sought to command the beasts, to chain them for power. That greed brought ruin, and so the beasts vanished into hidden places, beyond the mists, seen no more, save by those the mists themselves choose. The children shivered. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Kael's heart thundered. The mists choose. Could they choose him? That night, while others slept, Kael stood at the field's edge, watching stars burn above silver peaks, and in his chest, a question ached like fire. Were the beasts real? And if they were, would he be the one to find them? The mists beckoned. The days passed. Kael tried to keep his mind on chores, on wood chopping and goat herding, but the words gnawed at him. The mountains seemed closer each dawn, their mists curling like beckoning fingers. One evening, unable to resist, Kael slipped away, past the stream, through the trees, until the fog met him cool, damp, alive. The air grew heavy, sounds muffled, and lights flickered like fireflies though no insects stirred. He should have turned back, but curiosity pushed him on, and then he heard it, a whimper, soft and pained. The hatchling, through the mist, Kael saw a glow, faint and trembling. He stepped closer and gasped. There, curled in the ferns, was a creature unlike any he had ever imagined. Small, no larger than a hound. Its body shimmered with ember-like scales, each pulse dimming and brightening as if with breath. Its wings were crumpled, trailing faint sparks. Its eyes, wide and glowing like stars reflected in water, met his. A Skyfire hatchling, injured, alone, afraid. Kael's fear battled his wonder. He trembled, yet he did not flee. Instead, slowly, he knelt, laying his hand to the ground in peace. The hatchling whimpered again, its sparks flickering weakly. Kael's heart clenched. Carefully, he set down a scrap of bread from his pouch. The creature sniffed, then nibbled, its glow brightening faintly. Luma, Kael whispered, naming it for the light it carried, and in that moment, something passed between them. Not words but a bond, fragile, new, real. A promise in secret. Kael lingered until the night deepened, then forced himself to leave. He returned to the village quietly, heart ablaze with wonder and fear. His mother scolded his lateness. Lyra pouted, wanting stories. Only Sira, when Kael pulled her aside, heard the truth. A beast? She whispered, eyes wide. Kael, do you know what you've done? I helped it, he said simply, and I'll keep helping it. Sira's face shifted between fear and excitement. Then the mists have chosen you. That night, Kael lay awake, staring at the roof beams. His world had changed. His heart belonged not to dreams but to something real, breathing, glowing in the mist. He had found a Skyfire Beast, and he had promised to protect it. End of Chapter 1. The Boy Who Looked to the Skies. Thus began the tale of Kael, the boy who looked to the skies, a boy whose kindness bound him to a creature of fire and starlight, a boy whose choice would shape the fate of his village, his family, and the hidden world itself. But this was only the beginning, for beyond the mists, greater dangers stirred, and Kael's journey, alongside the hatchling he named Luma, had only just begun. Thank you for listening to this tale on Sukaw Shorts. If you enjoyed Chapter 1 of the Skyfire Guardians, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter in this magical adventure. The story continues. If you're enjoying this journey with us, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. We're super curious to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. And hey, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for even more fun with Sukaw shorts. Trust me, you won't want to miss all the amazing adventures we have in store. Love you all.